So I'm going to give you a little history, and I'll make this quick. In 2008, my former air carrier, which was an executive jet airline that managed corporate aircraft throughout the U.S., was contracted to develop procedures for defending other private-use air carriers from EMP. It was a unique request, but we embraced the challenge. We sought official guidance from the Department of Defense, and we followed their recommendations. Per the official guidance, we didn't have to harden the aircraft or the facility like our military does. We had another option. If we simply preserved a complete set of backup parts within EMP-proof metal enclosures, we could meet the mission. This simplified method was low cost, and it mirrored the EMP shielding techniques prescribed by the U.S. military. Now, by using these metal enclosures, we could shield the backup parts on site, and if attacked, these air carriers would have a dedicated, prearranged safe zone that could operate in the grid-down environment. It was simple, and I want you to remember this mission. It's the key to our survival. By the way, these metal enclosures are called a Faraday cage. Whatever we store inside, it's shielded from EMP, and if we use them in a very special way, we can do extraordinary things. You'll see what I mean in a minute. So let's begin, and let's start with the basics. What is an EMP? What is our risk, and how do we survive? Simply put, an EMP weapon is a nuclear weapon. Unlike a ground detonation that could destroy a city, when a nuclear weapon is detonated at a high altitude, the chain reaction creates a burst of electromagnetic pulse waves that head straight for the ground. They don't leave a scratch, but they have an immense power, and they can destroy our technology. Modern-day EMP weapons are known as super EMPs, and North Korea already has this technology. These super EMPs can literally destroy all the electronics we have, and if attacked, the resulting pulse waves can destroy the following. Now, EMP destruction. If we're attacked, our grids go down from coast to coast. Our home and our portable electronics, whether they're plugged in or not, they're gone. Our cars and our modern-day transportation can be taken from us like that. No more water at the faucet, no more communication. And essentially, we become trapped and isolated, and then we starve. Now, today, the experts say that America would be thrust into the Stone Age for years. 90% of us would perish. Our families would suffer and starve. And here's the kicker. 300 million people cannot be saved. We're talking biblical here, apocalyptic, and it's tough to comprehend. Now, I want to give you an example, a small glimpse of what it would be like on the first day of an EMP attack. Remember, it doesn't leave a scratch, and most of us would never even see it. Consider this scenario. You're a mom, and you live in a 3-bedroom apartment in a small city. Your husband is at work, and your 2 kids are at school. It's Monday morning, and it's a beautiful day. You've got 1,000 things to do, but you're a pro at time management, and you're ready to conquer. You've got your list, and you're good to go. So you grab your car keys, you've got your cell phone, and you head for the door. But then the power goes out. Another inconvenience. But it's no big deal. It happens all the time. So what? The power's out. You know it'll be on when you get home, and you head for the door. You lock up, and you notice that your phone isn't on, so you hit the power button. But it doesn't work. Doggone it. It's just one of those days, and you head for the car. You'll charge it when you get in, and again, it's no big deal. So you hop in, you put your stuff on the passenger seat, and you put your key in the ignition. With your foot on the brake, you turn the key, but nothing happens. No sound, no bells, no clicks, no starter. Your heart skips a bit, but then you try again. It'll work this time, but it doesn't. What the heck? Your car is dead. You go back to your phone, you try it again, but it's still dead, and now you're getting frustrated. Your husband is 50 miles away on the job, your kids are 10 miles away at school, you need food at the grocery store, and you've got 1,000 things to do. You need to fix this, and you need help. So you open up the car door, and as you do, you can see your neighbor walking towards you. You smile, but then you notice that the cars in the street are all stopped, and there's a lot of people milling about. Suddenly, you notice that it's dead quiet, and it's weird. You shut the car door, and your neighbor says, "All the cars have stopped. What's going on?" You're confused. It doesn't make sense, and your mind starts racing. You ask your neighbor if his cell phone works, and he shakes his head. "No, I was just on the phone, but it died. And it died when the car stopped." Now, your heart skips again, and you've got a strange feeling. You grab your stuff, and you head for your apartment. Within 2 minutes, you've discovered that your landline isn't working, your TV isn't working, none of the electronics are working, and you have no running water. Now you're scared, and you don't know what to do. And this is an EMP, folks. This is day 1. And I want you to think about day 2, week 2, month 2. Like I said, it's difficult to comprehend. The horrors are exponential, and our minds don't want to follow this path. We can perceive day 1, but beyond that, we struggle. It is a horrible scenario. This weapon will bring us to our knees, and then we die. But it's real. And America's brave, so we need to fill the gap, and with safe states we can. We can supplement our government, we can exercise our strength, and we can defend ourselves. It all sounds logical, right? I mean, it's reasonable, and it makes sense, and this is what our instincts tell us to do. When a deadly danger is looming, we should always defend ourselves to the extent we can. But that's the big question here. What is our real EMP risk? Is it really looming? Unfortunately, this is an easy one. The risk is here. Our government and our military have already spent billions in hardening their non-civilian infrastructures from EMP. And if they've spent billions on EMP defense, they believe an attack is looming. Additionally, and most telling, many of our experts now believe that North Korea may already have an EMP weapon on board one of its 2 satellites. And this is an alarm clock, folks. This is why we're running out of time. Take note. This is where we get our authority. If we're attacked, not only does America lose the war to one single high-altitude EMP, but it loses its people to a terrible death that was easily preventable. Yes, hardening is unachievable, but safe states is simple and low cost, and safe states is the only alternative we have, but yet it's a secret. The people have never been told, and our Achilles heel is now wide open. We've been sabotaged, and our enemies will take advantage. This is the fatal conundrum, and this is the conundrum that only we can solve. Our government has boxed itself in, and it tells us we need to harden our infrastructures, but it will never occur. Today, the entrenched powers want to promote climate change, gun control, and the Green New Deal. They don't want us to know anything about an EMP, and they don't want us to know there's an easy way to defend. The politics are disturbing, and they're deadly, but we're going to stay out of it. So let's get to the solution. So, if our governments can no longer defend us, how do we defend ourselves? How do we survive? It's simple, and the path is visible. We unite. We use our wisdom and our authority. We use the on-site method. We use the same standardized procedures that SafeState used to defend special use air carriers. We make our homes and our communities into safe zones, and we preserve a backup infrastructure so that it's always there. So let's look at the plan. The SafeState countermeasure is a 3-step plan. Its primary purpose is to establish a unification infrastructure that connects us all through standardized procedures that will save our lives. It embraces the challenges, it solves the challenges, and it empowers the experts to help all of us get America safe again. Now let's look at each step. Step 1, the Faraday cage. Like I said, if we use the Faraday cage in a special way, we can do extraordinary things. If we all protect the same standardized equipment within an EMP-proof enclosure, we can retain the following life-saving functions. We can retain our off-grid electrical power. We can retain our off-grid communications. We can protect our private transportation. We can retain the ability to acquire off-site food and water. And most importantly, we can retain the ability to stay in our homes. And now this is one of the most important survival functions we can have. The ability to stay in our homes. If we can bring food and water back to our houses are valuable shelters. But if not, we have to walk away, we have to move closer to the food and water. We have to become refugees. We have to survive off the land. And that's exactly what we don't want to happen. So, this is only a partial list of what we can do with the Faraday cage. But for extended operations and for special needs, we can do more. We can preserve many more functions. For example, many of us have medical challenges that need to be overcome, and Safe States is embracing these challenges. With the help of medical experts, we hope to defend the special needs of the American populace, and we're seeking experts now. So all in all, step 1 gives us a tremendous advantage. but it's not a plan yet. We need food and water. We need law and order. We need a communications infrastructure, and we need much, much more. So let's look at step 2. Step 2. Emergency stores and the crossover plan. For every person within a safe zone, a prescribed amount of emergency stores are listed in step 2. This will consist of food, water, fuel, etc., and this will be the amount necessary to keep each individual alive and well during the initial phase of a long-term grid failure. Now, because the EMP is catastrophic, because our experts believe that our grids would be down for years, at the minimum, a crossover plan is absolutely required. Crossover means a prearranged system of transitioning from the on-site emergency stores at our home to a more long-term or even indefinite supply chain at the local level. Safe States has incorporated these standards we need to acquire for this crossover plan. Because every town and every state is different, these crossover plans will need to capitalize on the local assets available. If we're all united, we can save our families together, and we can turn our supply chains inward. With a prearranged plan, we can sustain our local communities. So now with step 1 and 2, we're almost there. It is almost a plan, but it needs one more thing. Every patriot should have a chance to get on board the same lifeboat, and we need standardized procedures to help keep us organized and united. We need survival sharing programs. We need nationwide communications infrastructures. We need continuing compliance procedures. We need SOPs. So, step 3, Safe State Standardized Operating Procedures. These provide us with a list of policies and procedures for use in the grid-down environment. What do we do? How do we do it? When do we do it? And what's the prescribed method? This is the final component, and this is what makes Safe States a viable community plan. So it's simple, folks. We achieve the standard prescribed in steps 1 and 2, and we all operate in unison under the same standardized procedures in step 3. Think of it like this. The Safe State countermeasure gives the final destination and a roadmap. How we get there is up to us. We can do the best we can, but as we progress, the industry experts will find faster roads and they'll find shortcuts. With a destination set, the experts will find better ways to achieve the goals, and that's exactly what we want. And this is the beauty of Safe States. It empowers us with the right goals. It empowers the American patriots, our entrepreneurs, and our businesses to help us achieve them. Capitalism is wonderful, and it can save us all. Now, I know this was fast, and I know it was just a snapshot, but you get the general idea. Here's the recap. An EMP attack is the one war strategy that our radicalized enemies can use to win the war. And because they're radical, for lack of a better term, they will take the opportunity. Just like the bank robber, consequences don't matter, and therefore, mutually assured destruction will not work. We know that our government is ready for this attack, but they can no longer defend us, they haven't, and our death is preventable. So remember, this isn't a game. This is the brutal truth, and it will get worse. Today, voting is no longer enough. But if we do vote responsibly, and if we defend our families, we the people will have a great new power. America will be retained. We can have a backup. We can resume the checks and balances that make freedom work. We hold the power, and our power is in Safe States. So become a member of this project. Get your churches and your communities on board. Download the Safe States countermeasure and save your family. Bring your voice and your talents. Contribute. We need millions, and we need everybody now.